Big changes are coming to Marvel Rivals in Season 2.5 alongside the release of Ultron, and in this video we are going to place everyone on a tier list based on how they will probably come out of this balance patch. I think the tiers are pretty self-explanatory, but in both the biggest winners and biggest losers tier we can only place two characters, those most heavily impacted either positively or negatively by the balance patch, then both winners and losers depending on if they will be stronger or of lower power next patch, and in the middle the neutral tier where we are going to see characters that even though are going to see some changes probably will remain at the same level of power. We see right here all of the characters changed either directly from the balance update or indirectly from the team up changes, and in the bottom all of the characters that remain untouched, so we're not going to talk about them. Captain America is up first and he will be in the losers tier. He got nerfed, but a much deserved nerf in my opinion for a very oppressive character. He loses some survivability, and at the same time the most important change I think is the ultimate charge increase, because he could actually get his ultimate super easy and multiple times in a short span of time, which could be extremely annoying because combined with support ults, there's essentially a big pause in the game, no one can do anything, and Captain America is just bullying your backline straight up, while jumping around, and you are not really easily able to hit him. A deserved nerf, but at the same time he will definitely still be playable. Doctor Strange is a winner in 2.5, he gets essentially more damage, his damage fall-offs are reduced, and a much deserved little buff for Doctor Strange's damage, since he has seen quite a lot of nerfs from Season 0. He was still seeing play, but he fell from the spot of the best Vanguard in the game to not even top 3, maybe not even top 5 actually, but now with his team up with Wanda, he can be played alongside her, and he can also be more satisfying while providing some damage. Emma Frost, definitely in the losers tier. She does get a little buff too in her range of the ranged auto attack from 15.5 meters to 18. That is a nice quality of life, but everything else is a direct nerf. Her shield drops by 100, which is pretty big. Then her carbon crash, which is the choke, cooldown gets increased by a second, so essentially now you cannot use it twice during diamond form, which in my opinion is fine. It was a pretty niche use anyway. It was nice to have it available, but losing it won't be the end of the world. And then she also loses damage with her crystal kick, and she generally is, I guess, weaker offensively in her diamond form. She will still be able to one-shot squeezes, which is good. She will feel weaker, but I think she is 100% still playable. Groot is another loser this balance patch. While losing a bit of damage, the main nerf is that the Iron Wood Wall cooldown is increased from 8 to 12 seconds, which is huge for Groot, but at the same time the character might see less bans, because he's one of the most popular bans this season, so Groot players probably did not even get to play him, so you might win as a Groot player on that front, but this is definitely a sizable nerf. Magneto is definitely a winner, simply because he is already one of the best Vanguards in the game, easily top 3, and he now gets a buff, not a big one, just a small buff, but even that for an already good character is a win. Thor got some unexpected changes. I will place him in the neutral tier, because in my opinion he will be played differently, so we have to wait and see first of all how he will perform. And even though a lot of Thor players say this change with him using his awakened state more often is more boring as a playstyle, which might be true, but that does not necessarily mean it's bad, or it makes him worse on the power scale. From the beginning of Rivals, to be fair, the character's identity was never to be a beefy Vanguard, but a dualist / Vanguard character that also dives the backline all of the time and has movement abilities to just get in and also get out. With another flyer getting introduced in the game in Ultron, they might also be doing this so he can be in the awakened state more often and can not completely deal with flyers, but at least has some ability to do so. Getting to the duelists, Hawkeye is one of the biggest winners in this patch, an already good character gets buffs and a new great team up with Luna Snow. So in my opinion, he's definitely winning. He will probably be one of the best duelists. The Ice Arrow team up does seem strong, and he does lose the buff from being an anchor with the team up with Widow, but he does get other damage buffs to compensate with that as well. So I think the character overall came out on top. Hela got a buff for some reason. Why are we buffing Hela? I don't know, but a great character getting a buff, obviously she's also a winner, even though the buff is not anything super crazy. Human Torch, one of the permabans this season and one of the best duelists in the game, gets a much deserved nerf. He does get hit pretty hard though. It is kind of understandable because they did overbuff him at the end of the day, so nerfs were about to happen at some point. He loses damage, shield value from his flaming meteor, and also gains increased cooldowns. His meteor actually goes from 15 seconds to 20 seconds of cooldown, which is a huge nerf. And because he was one of the best duelists getting sizable nerfs, I think it is fair to place him in the biggest losers tier. Iron Fist is in the losers tier for sure. He loses both survivability and damage, but a well-deserved nerf overall for Iron Fist. He was very strong and very oppressive in Season 2. And he loses 5% of damage from his team up with Luna Snow as an anchor. Iron Man probably in the losers tier. First of all, he loses the Gamma Ray team up with Hulk. He's now completely out of that team up, and he will be an anchor in a new team up with Ultron, gaining 5% of a damage boost. He loses damage as well though, so maybe some of it is to compensate for the new anchor boost too. He does lose shield from 100 going to 50 while using his abilities, which is a pretty sizable nerf too, but I do like the fact that he's out of the Gamma Overdrive team up with Hulk and Namor, because we can differentiate him as a character now more, and you won't be specifically dependent on if someone in your team plays Hulk or not. That's not even an option. Definitely in the losers tier though. His former Gamma Overdrive buddy, Namor, is also definitely in the losers tier. He's getting nerfed and so is the team up with Hulk. The team up with Hulk from the start was a horrible idea, in my opinion. And even though he does get some buffs in his ultimate, he loses 5 seconds of cooldown going from 15 to 20 seconds on his immunity bubble, which means you have to use it more strategically or more sparingly, I guess, in the correct time to save yourself. Psylocke is definitely a loser. She's getting some big nerfs. The Shuriken damage is fine, understandable, but her losing 1 second of invisibility from 3 seconds to 2 seconds is huge for a character like Psylocke, in my opinion. She would be in the biggest losers tier, but someone else just got decimated, so that spot is reserved for another character. But still a very important nerf for her. Squirrel Girl is getting straight buffs, so simply enough, she's 100% a winner in this balance patch. Star-Lord is in the neutral tier because he got some tweaks in his ultimate ability. He can now aim further from 30 meters, the maximum range is now 40, but he needs more ultimate charge by 300 extra, from 3100 to 3400, something that will probably be more impactful for higher tiers of play. He will pretty much stay at the same level. Storm is simply a winner because the damage coming from her ultimate ability is increasing a bit. Punisher will go into the biggest winners tier alongside Hawkeye. They won't be at the same level of power, obviously, but Punisher gained some very important buffs. He is faster during his ultimate ability. His magazine size went from 30 to 40, which can be important for a fast-firing character like he is, and they also slightly reduced the spread when he is firing his assault rifle. Jeff will be in the biggest losers tier. I think you all knew that when you clicked this video. We don't really have to talk about it a lot, but he loses a big part of his identity as a quote-unquote damage dealer as well as a strategist. Assassin Jeff probably gone from existence. They want to transition him into more of a backline healer strategist. And now maybe that Ultron is also coming out being a strategist slash duelist character, they did not want Jeff to have that role as well. I'm not so sure, but I do think it is weird that now that the community and the player base is starting to understand Jeff's identity better and using it in different ways, which should be encouraged, they decided to completely drift away from that. Luna Snow is a winner because even though she gets a nerf in her ultimate ability now, needing more charge time, but her other abilities are getting better to compensate, and she will still definitely be impactful and one great character in 2.5. Rocket Raccoon will be in the neutral. He does lose 5 healing when directly healing someone, but it's not the end of the world. He loses the team up with Punisher, more impactful for Punisher for sure, but him being more independent as a character with the new buffs is great for him. And Rocket gains a new team up with Penny Parker. Either he can have his BRB protected from Penny's mines, or Penny can have 2 nests. Will be interesting to see how that plays out. In the same patch that Hela is a winner, it seems like Black Widow is a loser. Somehow they managed to do that, and the character loses the team up with Hawkeye, gaining a new team up with Punisher, but the effect of that is worse and way more niche, I think. Penny Parker, on the other hand, is a winner. She does lose and gain a team up as well, loses the team up with Venom, which was not that impactful for her, more impactful for Spider-Man probably, and gains a new interesting team up with Rocket. So she's a winner. Spider-Man, on the other hand, of course, he's a loser because losing the team up with Venom also decreases his survivability. He will be absolutely fine though, don't worry. Then both Mr. Fantastic and the Thing lose a bit of the team up power with Sue, but at the same time it's not that impactful, so both of them will be placed in the neutral tier. For other team ups I did not mention, Emma Frost is getting her team up power with Psylocke and Magneto nerfed, which makes absolute sense in my opinion. Then we gain the new team up of Jeff and Storm, but it won't be that impactful. Will look cool though, that's for sure. And Jeff also has a new team up with Venom, which will be interesting, but he does lose his team up with Luna Snow. And I'm pretty sure we talked about everything else. So these are the biggest winners and losers for the upcoming 2.5 balance patch. Let me know of your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see ya!